Hey everyone, welcome to Words of Hope, a weekly short video of encouragement from Hope Fellowship Church. My name is Ben, and we've got a new word for you this week. It's the word soak. We've been talking about John 15, which is a passage in the New Testament at Hope Fellowship Church over the last few weeks. It's a part of the story where Jesus is talking to some of his closest friends about what their connection to each other and to God looks like. And in this passage, he uses the word abide quite a few times. Here's an example. He says, "As the Father has loved me, so I have loved you. Abide in my love." I think that's a really interesting thing to say, especially from our 21st century American perspective, because abiding in something is a pretty restful thing. It's a word that has a connotation of being rooted in something and just allowing yourself to be absorbed in it. And when you think about it, how many messages do we get a day that tell us we're only as good as what we can produce? Or if we're not busy, then we're not doing anything meaningful with our lives. And you know, it's not like being productive or busy is a bad thing. But what I get out of what Jesus is saying here is that the things that we do flow out of our being. They flow out of who we are. And that makes me think that maybe this word abide actually means something pretty close to our word soak. Check out this sponge here. If I don't put this sponge in water, it gets really dried out and it's a pretty useless thing. But if I put it in water and let it soak, well then it is just full of water. It is gushing with abundant water. I think what Jesus is telling us here is that if we allow ourselves to just be in the presence of God's love and light, then that will transform us completely. I know in my own life that if I choose to soak in something other than God's love, like people's opinions or social media or stress and worry, then I don't have very much to offer anyone. But if I make the choice to soak in God's love, then I remember that I am loved myself and that I have plenty of love to share. Here's the thing though, I don't think it's always helpful to recommend that you go do something like soak or abide in God's love, because that's a pretty abstract concept. So the real question is, what does it look like to abide in God's love or to soak in God's love in our practical, everyday lives? What does that look like on a Tuesday or a Thursday afternoon to just be in God's love? How does that look for you? Prayer, meditation, mindfulness, maybe reading, being out in nature? I think there's lots of ways that we can abide in God's love. So why don't you tell us in the comments how you connect with God's love and how you abide in God's love. Thanks for joining us. We hope you'll click subscribe so that you can catch this video next week where we have something new to share with you. Go in grace and peace and have a great week.